Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from and when you're watching. I am Ben Osewili, and with me here I have two wonderful gentlemen. I have Mr. Love Benson, who's the executive producer of this series. Then I have Mr. Fulubi Alunge, who is also a senior colleague and organist. So today we'll be discussing um, I think I'll just hand over to Mr. Love to tell us what we'll be discussing today. So what are we discussing
Well,
today?
it's a simple topic. I'm just curious. What I had in mind is I wanted us to discuss about the challenges organists face here in Nigeria. And one of the things I've discovered is that organists in Nigeria find it difficult to get an instrument that has stable electricity. And I don't know if this is a problem you guys face. Mr. Fulu, what would you like to say about the issue of electricity in Nigeria and practicing?
Well, thank you for giving me this platform. Actually, I appreciate it. I won't take it for granted. To your question, actually, electricity is a major problem as far as Nigeria is concerned. And considering the fact that even churches have to run on generator and for diesel, cost of it is on a very high side at the moment. Of course, the church you have to think twice. Organist, can you use the keyboard instead of using the organ? Because we don't have money to fuel our generator. And I don't blame the church actually, because I'll put all the blame back on the Nigerian system, which is not actually favorable for most of all these things that we do. In worship places now, they have to manage their resources. In a situation whereby back in the days, before a service you have to do a prelude, after the service you have to do a postlude. But now the generator comes on just 2 minutes before the service and it goes on immediately after the processing out or after the grace. So it won't really encourage organists to practice, because back in those days you have to practice your prelude and your postlude, and what you do today, this Sunday, is not what you're gonna do another Sunday. Is not what you do today might, before it comes up, might be after 2 months, 3 months. But now when there's no challenge, there's nothing to do. You're only playing the hymns. And these are regular hymns we do virtually every Sunday. So everybody loses interest in even practicing, except for some maybe concert organists that have to play for different concerts, and of course they want to put more effort into the practicing. So those ones we have to travel even far. They have to put a lot of resources, spend a lot to achieve their practice. And when there is not much coming in for an individual, for any individual as an organist to want to put more resources in order to get to practice, well, I'll say for me, maybe you have maybe 5 out of 100 that will want to do that actually. So that's my own submission to this.
So thank you, Mr. Fulu, for sharing with us your experience with the electricity issue in Nigeria and how it affects organist practicing. And Venus, would you like to tell us your experience with electricity issue?
Yeah, I mean, as an organist who has lived in Nigeria for the major part of my life, I can attest to the fact that electricity is a major challenge. I remember 2017 when I started getting access to organs. I remember one of the days several locations, I would go all the way from my house to the location and I won't be able to practice. Why? Because there's no electricity. There's a power cut at that for that period, for the entire period. So that's that is definitely an issue.
So you were also saying something about policy. How does that come into play and how does it affect organist church policies?
Yeah, there. In fact, that is another. So there are different policies. By policy, I mean um, the things that churches, those requirements, for example, or those things like, oh, we cannot put on the generator just for you to practice. We can only put on the big gen. which is the one that can accommodate using the organ. We can only put it on when it is service time or things around. Oh, if you are not one of us here, if you are not on staff here, you cannot have access to our organ. You can't use our organ for practice. Some things like that.
Mr. Apollo, do you have anything to say about that?
To that actually, I think the issue of policy will be my own opinion about that will be quite different actually, because policy in churches might not really be concerning you as the church organist or as a visitor or guest. The policy that has to affect organists in churches goes beyond that. But it is also politicized. That policy is politicized because it might be because they like the person, the organist. Even if the organist is not an organist, but as long as they like it, then the church policy will favor such person. But when even they have a better one, but as long as they don't like that better one, it won't favor it. In cases whereby we have master of music organists and we have assistant organists, but eventually something turned around. The church or the priests happen to like the assistant organist. Now, the policies of the church will stop favoring the master or the music director and organist, and we start favoring the assistant. So be it. The music director, organist gets frustrated, and he sees it as the policy of the church is not favorable, is not good, whereas it is favorable to the assistant. And of course, the assistant is already offered a juicy position and take home, and he will keep quiet so that the music director can have his way out and he come in. That's number one. Number two will be that sometimes we organists, we are not dedicated to our work. Some churches have, of course, a very strict policy. I mean a strict one. From my own personal experience, I visited a church. Well, I play organ, and I'm a master of music, my diocese. I'm well learned in this. At least I have a little idea. I won't say I have. I mean, I won't say I have it all. I won't say I know it all. But at least the little I know and the experience I've been into this, at least for almost 28 years now, I will say that I should not go to a church and be a bencher. But because of the church policy, which is I cannot just walk into a service and expect to go to the organ to play. It's not the fact that the person even playing was not in my category or my standard, but there is a policy, which is if I have to play in that church, either as a guest or whatever, I have to have been there before that day, possibly practice with them, identify with the priest in church so that it won't come up as a surprise. So my surprise eventually surprised me that day. So which to me, I didn't get offended because I respect that policy. Which some organists, I'll use that word, some organists, they bluff around. After I was there, they didn't allow me to play. If he comes to my church, I will not allow him. That is all rubbish. All shades of nonsense. Because you have to respect it. It's a standard. Follow it. What is called policy? It's a regulation. It's a standard of a place. Of course, you can now go to a smaller church and hey, Oga today, Oga is here, Oga is here. Oga can do everything. And Oga will now showcase, will now be like a Real Madrid Oga, way overconfidence, kill him, way Lily beat him. That's it. That's from my own perspective, which I will end by saying, organists should respect policies in churches. One. Two, if there are no policy in churches, in some church, and as an organist, for you to even go to a church, you know you are going there for a function, a service, or whatever. Kindly reach out to the church, the music director or the organist there. I'll be coming. Is there anything you will want me to do when I come? So that I can practice on my own. I will not feel overconfident that I know it all. Sometimes when I get there, your fingers are, of course, cold. In the olden days, I can testify to some of our fathers which are late now. You go to their churches just unaware and you want to play. You will wee for body on the organ because you came too confident, you know. But, lastly, our late father, Mr. Kayode, when you think you play organ, that baba,
Humble you.
you humble me, well, and I looked at myself and said, I know nothing, you know, because I was only believing in myself. And also, I think this is some people can tap experience about this incident. I went to a church in Jos. I played. After the service, nobody introduced me. They only said, "Is this man from Lagos?" And the organist said, "Yes." They play like Agberu. The church has a policy whereby the organ is not meant to be loud or louder than the congregation when singing hymns. You have to blend in. But me, I got there, I was just showcasing over
My question to you is: before you went to the church, did you reach out to the person in charge of music?
The organist, the music director, then at the time was Barrister Aman.
Okay.
Aman. The organist is Dr. John Thomas, which is now the music director. So both of them were aware I was coming to Jos. So the moment I got to Jos, on the Sunday, I didn't attend their practice actually because I got there on the Saturday evening. So on Sunday, I was in church for service. The organist was the first person to play, and by the time I played, I just was showcasing more than the organist. I never knew that I was fooling myself. And until after the service, they asked, "Where is that man from?" I said, "He's from Lagos." I don't wonder. He plays like Agberu.
Because you know the reason why I asked that question. Yes. Like for me, before I go to a church, I need to have an understanding of what they are familiar with.
Exactly. You know, I mentioned it the other time. I didn't try to understand what they're familiar with. I only notify. There are two or three different things. You can, of course, you notify of your coming. Then if you cannot ask of how they do, when you get there, don't jump to play first.
Try to observe.
Observe. Yes. Maybe 2 hymns or 3 hymns ahead of you. Then why is this organ not loud? You can now ask questions.
I even think it's even better when the main organist is around and you can ask him, okay, in terms of registrations, because it's easier for him to tell you these are the registrations that he uses. And I'm not saying you cannot explore with other registrations, but you kind of have an idea of what they are used to in that church. And
well, in terms of registration, churches might not really have a kind of standardized registration.
I'm even saying
the organist's registration is limited to the organist playing.
I'm
if
even
there are
talking
2, 3 organists in that church,
in terms of
their
dynamics.
registration will not be. Okay, you're talking about in terms of dynamics.
So because you say, okay, it can get to a point that maybe it's too loud, right?
And that was what I did. Was loud, and they were looking at me like, who's this person? They didn't say anything. I thought they were feeling me. No, I thought they were actually feeling me, and I was fooling myself until after the service, and I heard his name. I don't know that he played like Agberu, and I felt horrible. I've been to Jos almost 5-7 times after then, and I've played in Jos every time I go. I even played for the Handel Messiah concert at the time. But the first experience made me to learn there are cultures, there are policies in different angle. Whereas in some churches around here, how they pay this person? Why is he not playing very well?
I want to even ask a question. Do you think most organists in Nigeria are humble to learn? Or most, I don't know, in terms of your personal experience, or most of them try to show off, even though they don't have a full understanding of what they're doing. So I want to know what your personal experience is with, different organists and what you think about their attitude towards learning.
Well, I will speak from this perspective, which is our elders they say money wey pikin must get, they take and chop akara. That is, I'm speaking from that perspective.
Mm.
We have a lot of young organists. As long as they play and they feel themselves, they know it all. Now, when they say contemporary, they feel like he's not playing anything, does not know how to play, blah blah. Also, and even when they have the privilege to learn, they shy away from it. They are so much in their own self belief. Me, for example, a man came in. I met a man not quite long actually. I think that was around last year. Was it last year or this year? And each time this man plays the organ, I was like, so we have people like this. He's so, in fact, he's so, I don't know the English to quantify him.
Mhm.
Plays recital like drinking water,
Mhm.
like you are just drinking water, you know. And his style of playing hymns,
Mm.
it brings in different kind of those attributes of recitation, and you feel like wow. And I started looking at this man, trying to learn one thing or the other. It got to a time I said, "Oga, come. This one where you play, do you have a piece of it?" He said, "Yes." Send it to me. I started practicing. Oh God, I help in ages past. This man I'm talking about is right there beside me. His name is
Oh.
Mr. Lopez.
We are talking about now.
Oh wow!
Seriously.
And now,
I was like, wait, please. Okay.
and now that song, anytime I play it, I feel myself.
Oh, you've learned it?
Yes, of course. Very well.
Nice.
Very well. You know, at the time I actually had to speed up to his practice. There was this song "Rejoice" by
Is it the one by Ando?
yeah, Anel.
Okay.
No, Mr. Benson was actually practicing the song. I was like, he said he's going to play it in the US. I said, okay. Did they practice on organ? I did they practice on piano? Me too. I must practice.
Oh,
this.
I remember.
You remember?
And we're now practicing at the same
At the
time,
same
taking
time,
it little
little by little, you know, and that really motivated me. But the motivation actually has gone to one level whereby if I don't see music, I no come dey play. Because you know that thing is gone so wide that I can't put everything in my head. So I have to have the music. Even if I start without the music, I will break down. So, but when the music is there, at least I'll be able to flow conveniently. So,
Do you also think that one of the things that is causing trouble is the fact that people do not have someone to show them the right way to practice?
oh, well, I won't believe that.
I don't think that is the case
Okay.
because everyone has a responsibility for their improvement, for their
Yeah.
development.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a living example. If where I come from,
Mhm.
I have every reason not to be good. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand
I
what I'm talking
understand
about. I have every reason not to be a good organist. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, access. There was first an access problem. I didn't have access to organs. So I could have as well said, oh, I don't have access to organs, so I can't practice.
Okay.
Let me shock you people. Before I actually got access to organs in 2017, I was on YouTube watching videos about how the organ works, how an organ is different from a piano. And as a matter of fact, I started practicing pedaling on the floor before I ever got to an actual organ. My point here is it is a personal responsibility for you as an organist to ensure that you take steps to meet people that will teach you, that will show you what. And I mean, there's nothing you have to be humble about it. You are not going to lose anything. If I learn from Mr. Love Benson, which as a matter of fact, I've actually learned a lot of things from him.
Yeah,
It's not written on my head that he learned this from Mr. Love Benson. If I've learned registration from Mr. Folu. A lot of things, organ registration. If you enjoy my registration when I play, this is one of the people. So it doesn't. You are not going to lose anything if you learn from someone. It doesn't even matter whether you are older or you are younger than the person.
Do you think most Nigerian organists are lazy?
Yeah.
I
We are
think
lazy, not
I,
they. We are all lazy.
I think complacence is the word. So they are just convenient. They are comfortable with what they do.
Yes, we are
They
lazy.
feel that they are masters in their own domain. They are, or you hear Organist say things like, "Oh, that's my style. That's my
Yeah,
style,"
yeah.
and that so-called style is nonsense.
You
It's not.
remember Chief was saying something like, "That's my style." Like,
That's
well,
my,
what is your style?
What is your style?
What do you mean by "that's my style"? Wow.
Yeah.
we're not trying to discourage people being unique or having their style, but whatever you're calling your style must be something that the world can
Uh, uh,
listen to and relate
yes, thank
to.
you. I want to on this issue of style.
Mhm.
There was this. Am I correct with his name? Something Apolabi in his recording. Now the songs whereby he has been recording so far, the organ play. I have some friends around. They play these songs in their vehicle, in their cars. So when we are together, one organ is now played that very style. One person was now saying, no, it remains small. You never reach up. There's this thing he did around, and I said, one thing I will never do in my entire life. Why will I have to compete with your own style?
Hmm.
Do your thing. Make I do my thing. Sincerely, but when you are doing it, make sure it makes sense.
Hmm.
Sincerely, before I met Sir Chigoloke, my style was somehow. After I met him, it was always like, you are confusing us with your style. This your style is so confusing. Which I remember was the same style I exhibited in Jos.
Hmm.
You know, I was not like, I think that it varies. And
Hmm.
as an organist, you must be able to balance your equation. Your environment matters a lot, actually. I won't shy away from that. You might be in some places whereby if you want to maintain this Olowo style, you'll be like, these organos are big.
Hmm.
So when you are within the Agberos, do like Agbero. When you are within the elite, I'm not insulting. I'm not. I don't mean to insult any people or any place or organization. But the truth of it is, some are always like, it's okay, volume. And when you put more volume, it becomes to some people, what is this? One,
Hmm.
two. The style of playing organ is different from playing the keyboard in
Hmm.
actual sense.
Hmm.
And to some people, when your organ is quite too full, it becomes noisy and you can't even get to know what actually you're playing. But distinct and conventional to some people. But to some people, conventional, you're not a cathedral organist. As a cathedral organist, you have to be very conventional and out of very conventional. You
Hmm.
know, the two has to be balanced. So, to me,
I'm very curious about something. Do you think in this present situation right now with Nigerian organists, do you think we can compete at a global level?
Hmm.
We
I
are
think
not. We are not there yet.
I think I should go first.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
I
hmm.
have personal reservations about this. I'm sorry to say, many of Nigerian organs are not there yet. Like
We are not there yet.
the barest minimum
Mhm.
of what the world stage accepts and can relate to, we don't have it yet. Many people are still deficient in technique. Many people are still deficient
I
in
wanna the technique thing. Um.
No, before we go to the technique thing,
Yes. Okay.
that first question, which is if
If we can
Nigerian organists can
Mhm.
actually measure up to the
global standard.
global standard. Uh, well, I'll say that we still have some artisans. Àìríjìnà ní Yorùbá. Jẹ́ kí a rí kinní kan
Abuke Okere.
àbúkẹ́ ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́. You know. But in my own exploration, rather, I've met with so many, which I wonder, so you are in Nigeria
Hmm.
and you have this
Qualities.
qualities. From what I've seen so far, you have some. I know at least in Abuja, for example, I know about two or three. Here in Lagos, I can boastfully say I know, more than 10. For that court, it's just in the only thing is the ratio of organist. See, and I want one thing. I think we have to filter this organist of a thing.
I think I know where you're going to.
Not all of them are organists.
He wants to shake
I
tables.
think I know where you're going to, and the fact that the ones that are not even there yet show themselves more than.
Sorry to put this in like this. There are a lot of platforms on WhatsApp which they just come in, and I tend to, at the time I didn't read. On my phone I have over 2,000 messages from these platforms. I didn't even open it because the most contributors on this platform, when you come to meet them, how are you contributing something that you don't know? How dare you? This is rubbish. And eventually, I now see those that are called the real organists. At the time, they had to engage in Nigerian ways, which becomes fight, exchanging of words.
Yeah.
Me, I know they're interested. I am not. I'm not. I don't want to even know. So, in our meeting sometimes ago in the guild, I said, can we stop some people calling themselves organists? Because really it affects even those that are real organists in churches.
Shed more light.
This table you are shaking.
Shake this.
There are people on it too.
Okay. I call myself an organist. Fine.
This is what I want to hear.
I get to church. I carry myself as an organist. And before I go detail in that, whoever calls himself organist, they should stop it acting in a way that will insult organists. Like stealing choir money, sleeping with choristers. Please, all this thing plenty for outside. Do it outside. Stop doing it in church. And when you now see priests insulting organists, I can't look at myself. Let me bring myself to this level. No. But some people had already brought that upon us. As far as I'm concerned, I'm an organist, a reputable one. And as far as my diocese is concerned, starting from my Lord Bishop, we respect ourselves. Not to talk of the dean or other priests in the diocese. I've not messed up myself to an extent. But some people keep saying that whoever comes in after me to that diocese is coming to just enjoy. And because the level which I am is the level they will put in immediately he comes in. They will continue that respect and regard. But make that person no go mess up. Mess up. That
Already giving a warning.
don't mess up. Don't mess up.
Yeah, but I think there's a fundamental question that we should ask here, and that question is, who is an organist? What makes somebody an organist?
We're actually going to. I think that was where we started before I debated. Now, the organists.
Why do I feel like you're about to shake tables again?
I started from practicing the keyboard. My father used to have an organ back in the day. Eminent.
Eminent, yeah.
Is eminent or eminent?
Yeah, eminent.
Yes. To manual. Full pedal. I was young. My leg no dey reach pedal.
How old were you? When you say
That
young?
was about 13. 13 years. That was when I started doing, parara. And my father was also an organist and a pastor. And we have that organ in our living room. We have accordion.
Wow.
And we have what's it called? No, I think it's only accordion. Two different mouths, yes. The pipe and the direct one, like that. And I was learning gradually. In our Sunday school class, I'm the organist. From that experience, I decided to pursue it to a level. I told my mom, I want to go and study music. She said, yeah, no, you study law. Music is far. Why will you go and study music? Because the church I am from, you see that music as, you don't know it, you are not yet a good worker in church. Because for you to be in that church, a member of that church, you have to be in the choir. And for you to be in the choir, you go through the rudiment, sight reading,
Sight reading,
junior instrumental test,
art of singing,
senior instrumental
art of
test,
singing.
then art of
Oh,
singing.
which church is it?
We're from the same
Oh,
church.
no wonder, because it sounds like it's so makes sense.
We're from the same church actually. So now
Nice,
we have to go through those procedures, and all these things really built me. At the time when I was in secondary school, I wanted to be playing football. My mom said, no, I'll buy you keyboard. Because at the time, the eminent organ has been taken to the church. Even they worked well. I'll buy you keyboard so that you'll be practicing when your mates are playing football.
So another was
Now, my mama,
play organ, don't play keyboard, don't play ball.
Don't play ball. Now my mama don't make me sabi play football. I for know how to play very well now. But
Imagine if you're in one of these big clubs now.
I mean,
I get so in love with my keyboard. I know everything on the keyboard. Even midnight, I'll be playing, I'll be practicing, I'll be doing all of that. I started my challenge from when I was in SS1, and our music teacher in school, Uncle Ebin, said, Follow, you practice first note. Rock on me, you play Winchester New.
Winchester New.
Am I correct now? I think Winchester New.
Yeah.
And I was like, it will be nice if I played that Winchester New, because that first note I get as a B. I can't hit, and it's on D.
Yeah.
Winchester New is easy. My music teacher said, that is what you're going to play. Because of that, I didn't go to school on Akarudi. Rock on me that played the Winchester New, played it very well. He also played the national anthem. But it was a music teacher that now Dabarudi first know. I was looking up to Rock on me. I was in SS1, Rock on me was in GSS3. I was looking up to Rock on me. This guy, look at his hand. And his fingers are quite short. And he plays very wonderfully well. But today, where is Rock on me on the organ? He deviated. I have another brother. I'm coming to a place. He too, in our church where we grew up from, is also an organist there. He was an organist there. When this guy plays, I look at myself and I say, they play organ. I beg me, this cannot be my career. This cannot even work for me at all. I can't even know how to play this thing. In concert, during concert.
That's the way I feel now.
Honestly, you shouldn't feel like
I feel
that.
like I don't think I'm supposed to be playing the organ when I see some people play.
No.
I'm not supposed to be on the
I look
organ.
at myself whenever that church, there's a concert in that church, I look forward to see that guy play. We are friends. In fact, we are very like family. I look at him like, how come these guys are play this thing? We are not he get to it. If Papa no get organ for house, my Papa get organ for house. How come? Well, I looked up to him, and that was what really brought me to the level of now. I went to Anthony Village, where our headquarters is. I was there for almost 6 months, trying to know how to play the organ. Not just keyboard. I practice keyboard, I also go to the organ. From there, I went to Ibadan. So the late Mr. Kaudeoni. How do you do this? How does it work like this? Apart from that, I want to attend every concert, not to play, but
just to listen.
Play. How do they
challenge yourself?
Challenge myself too. And coach also made me, when I was in Ghana, that was what took me to Ghana actually.
Music.
To learn organ, not just music, organ. So at OAU, the lecturer was actually asking me that, why don't you come and have a certification here on this music career? I said, okay, you are going to teach me music, you are not going to teach me organ. So that music, I'll be learning it on the piano. I'm talking about organ. It's fine. It's different. And the same thing, University of Education in Kerry, piano. University of Jos, piano. I'm talking about universities I've come across with. Even no son. I think recently they started bringing in organ for the maybe concerts or about something like that. But it's not as if they really have organ which students. I'm not sure.
No, I think they have an organ. I'm aware they have an organ. But I think people even have a reservation about the organ curriculum at the Sun.
I know about Dr. Lunoti when he was at MFM, Mountain Top University. There used to be one organ there, and I know that some people come there to learn.
Yes, yes. There's also organ performance in Mountain Top University. Yes, yes, I'm aware. I know Chuka.
Yeah. So why is it that organ performance is not something major in these big universities? Is it because they are not competent people to teach it, or there is not enough funding to get instruments? And I don't know. What do you think the issue is?
Oh, well, I will speak locally now. Sincerely local. No offense taken, and nobody should hold me for
You want to shake tables again?
Oga, in Nigeria, who sit down to listen to Oga? Apart from him,
that's the only person I know that still sits down to listen to.
That's one thing.
Even I was asking somebody that how come there's no active organ recital in Nigeria? I've not actually met anybody. I don't say there are not people giving recitals, but it's not
like recital for what recital.
It is not something that is frequent. And sometimes even if I hear some of them giving recitals, it's like they're doing a community hymn singing. I don't understand what that is. How are you going to call community hymn singing a recital? Or you tell an organist to come and give a recital, you start playing hymns.
What?
How is that?
The recital issue is simple as that nobody listens to it. There was a time.
Is it nobody listens to it, or nobody wants to go through the stress of
learning
how to play the pieces?
No. I will not really subscribe to that because I know of organists around here that plays anything, recitals, anything.
Okay.
So those ones can easily say, okay, there's going to be a recital concert. My brother, you play for yourself and your family.
Nobody will show up.
Woo!
But I've even discovered too, even with playing for chief, it's not really particularly about organ literature.
No.
Just playing simple hymns.
No, his own.
That's his preference. That's
his own. His own. It's like King David, whereby coaches, you don't give those things he does not know. Things that he knows, but probably he didn't remember.
Not that he doesn't know like organ repertoire. I think it's just
those one does not pass the message to him. It's just like entertaining.
Yeah.
But he wants something that way. In his time of will, play something. Oh God, thank you, God. Thank God that I know organ. To him, that's it. But when you go repertoire crazy,
but there are some repertoires that can touch your soul.
Of course, I can.
Depending, that's if you know what he wants to listen.
Exactly. Apart from him, except for people like us, me, I don't go Malaysia because of music.
You don't travel.
Yes, now.
This man is the Ajala of music.
I traveled one music festival in Penang. I was there, 2012. When Pope was to come to Ghana, I went because I wanted to hear the kind of music they would actually give that day. I was in Kenya for some kind of music summit at the time.
I think you take me with you with this travel.
Money no day again like before. Economy
how to get this money now?
Economy has crashed. Man. Back then it was easy. It was very easy. They want to do concert in Ibadan. I will leave Akure my space and go to Ibadan. They won't even know I'm in church. Just listen and get out. Yeah, in Lagos too. When Harry Baikidon was still around, Harry's my guy. He plays fine.
Yes, fantastic.
But there's another thing though to this. Harry plays fine on the recital, but when it comes to him, you will pursue and come up for really? Tell him I said. I don't know if he has improved on that. But back then, talking about 2014, 2015, not for 2013, 2014.
Harry was one of the people I would have had a chance to take lessons with. But
Harry, he plays recital, classicals, recitals. You'll be looking like this is the best organist in Nigeria. But we wanted to sing him that day in the service. How he was playing. And the pastor would just say, tell that man to leave the organ. I said, we can't send him out of the
He's a
organ.
big
He's playing already. So when the pastor wanted to preach, he said, we are going to retake that hymn.
Wow.
Mr. Folu, please, can you play?
So this is something I want to bring up.
Yes.
So can you be a very good recitalist, like play difficult reps, and still not be able to
Yes.
lead the congregation
Yes.
in singing
Yes,
hymns?
very well.
Of course. Of course.
Very well. You know, the leading of congregation in singing the hymns, when you are playing, you know, there's too much to music.
Mm-hmm.
You have your music book,
Mm-hmm.
you are playing,
Mm-hmm.
you will lead the congregation to sing by playing what is in the music book
Mm-hmm.
accurately.
Mhm.
You know. Now, when the congregation is singing already, they want to have a feel. Most congregations have a feel. It might not be lousy, it might not be in the way you are constituting nuisance, but there must be some feel. Wow. Look at that movement. As far as I'm concerned, it is important. So, but a lot of repertoire players, they are not really. I mean, a lot of repertoire, yes, they are not really. They don't concentrate much on that. So, not everyone. They don't concentrate on that hymn. They leave it to be and focus on the their recital, their skills and all that. And of course, 90% of hymn players, they shy away from even give them everybody from hand them desire.
If you're talking to me, talk to me directly.
Okay, no,
If you're talking to me, talk to me directly. I'm on this table is shaking.
you know. Whereas you can actually balance a beat in between.
And that's my point. As an organist, are you not supposed to be a balanced organist? When you are more on one side than the other, what does that make you?
Lazy.
No, I don't agree with
Okay, you are lazy.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I
Well,
think people have inclinations based on their experiences, based on their exposure, based on their audience. So over the years, by virtue of my experiences, by virtue of my exposure, by virtue of my circumstances and realities where I've played, I mean, I've been pretty much a church organist. I mean, I've been in the church. I grew up in the church. I've played in the church. I haven't really played elsewhere. So you don't expect me now to, I mean, the chances that I would have developed myself as a concert organist are very slim. I would have needed to take extra step to become a fantastic concert organist.
I think I will take back the word lazy.
I think exposure is one of the things that, because I can tell you that if I did not travel to study, right, I'm not sure I'll be exposed to plain organ literature.
Exactly.
I think I'll be stuck with plain hymns, and I think the only way people grow is based on people around you.
Exposure.
I was about saying that exposure and what matters around you. So around us, it's still the same thing as the reciters. Why we don't have organists doing recitals more often, concerts, organ concerts and all that. When you say there is organ concerts, people will come. Okay. You when they play, how will you feel?
For me, let me just say something. I'll say something when I give a recital. I'm not saying I'm not bothered about the audience, but it's more about me just sharing my music.
Do you know why we do things in Nigeria? This is not just music aspect of it. Everything we do, why we do them in Nigeria is because
there's a Nigerian touch.
There's a Nigerian touch in your spirit. You must do it for people to
see it.
That's
if there's nobody,
you are discouraged.
Okay.
Fun fact.
But is that how all organists need to think in terms of like sharing their music? If nobody sees my music, I would not share it.
I don't understand this share.
Okay. Like in terms of like giving recitals. Okay, let us even say in terms of composition. Like you compose your music. Are you composing your music because, I'm not saying you don't want people to see it, but would that stop you from not wanting to compose your music? even if people don't see it.
Oh well, that's another platform entirely.
But it still comes down to even giving recital. Are you
Yeah,
gonna say you're gonna stop giving recital because people are not attending?
Our motivations
Now,
are actually different.
do you
And
know?
that's what I'm saying.
No, I won't even go into the motivation because
Okay.
I would want to say that, for example, when I was in South Africa, I spoke with Dr. Laurent at the time because he too was in South Africa, and he started his music, whatever, from there to the UK to learn to study music and all that. No, there's one guy also, Femi. He's from Ibadan. He's in South Africa. I think he married a Zambian lady or Zimbabwe or Zambia. We were together. The way he plays.
Now, this is Femi you're talking about.
Yeah, this Femi I'm talking about. He's a pianist actually. So there is this jazz, arrangement whereby he does a lot of piano, styles and all that. But you know that all this that he's doing is not costing him anything to achieve. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
How do you mean?
There's a facility
Okay.
already.
Okay.
He used to just go
Just going and
and play. So when I was in South Africa too, I didn't do any recital. I think I only played in a church, which they were like, I already had my experience in Jos. So I didn't go there to mess up myself. It had been mess up.
mess up.
So it was a woman, one white woman that plays in the church.
Just right.
In South
In South
Africa.
Africa.
I'm an organist. Oh, really? I was asked to play. And the Reverend Father was like, they call their priest, in Anglican church, they call him Reverend Father. I was like, I'm Anglican with you. You don't get wife? He said their priest don't get wife. He's an Anglican priest, but he chooses not to have a wife. So they refer to him as the Reverend Father.
Is that not the way Catholic?
Catholic only call their priest Reverend Father. But also in Anglican they call their priest Reverend Father. Reverend Father. I was like, yeah, okay, I don't hear you now. So I played and they were like, oh, this is wonderful. We worship next Sunday. I said, yes. I worshiped there too. I played just hymns and all that. But the woman was also there too. What am I bringing out of this is, if I want to do a recital concert, do you know after service, the postlude that you do, until you finish it, some congregation do not leave church.
That's how it's supposed to be.
I'm coming to that. Until you finish it. This is not they told me. I played. I did postlude. The woman do postlude. Some will even move closer to the organ. Some will be seated and I'll be wondering, are they waiting for someone?
They're listening to you.
And after the postlude, you just see them, you pack their things and they are leaving. It happened the first Sunday, the second Sunday, the third Sunday. I was like, oh, so this is part of them.
It's a tradition.
But here,
Different.
you won't do postlude. We have meeting, Oga.
It's not even that.
We are doing
If
meeting.
you start the postload in 2 minutes, the light is gone.
Apart from the light, when the light is not gone.
They were off gen.
When the gen is not off.
Meetings.
I'm saying this. Bishop is in church. They don't go off gen. No be Nigerian gen that they use that time. Now God gen. When the bishop is in church.
It's a different kind of
different kind of gen. And you know before they inside.
Do you also think, don't you feel like that's even disrespectful to the organist in a way?
I'm coming there now. So because the bishop is in church, they won't off the generator. Now, when you, as an organist, want to do postlude when the bishop is not around, 5 minutes.
No pastor.
We don't pass waiting. You know, 1 minute don't deserve. Then just don't off. They don't go even tell you, your guy go just do quick. Light go. But the bishop is in church until he leaves, the gem will not go off. 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Under Nigerian problem.
That's under Nigeria.
Nigerian
so
problem.
That aside. Now, when the bishop is not in church, which will give you an avenue to do postload, recitals, do some funds, Since then, the bishop's wife's the society, the something. You have to stop. That's our mentality around here. So, for a recital organist here that wants to do a recital concert, organ concert, how do you achieve it? You must have priest say light, you go buy diesel. for church generator. Where you want to use their organ.
You know, I want to say, I want to go against what you're saying in a little bit. Not like what you're saying is not
Okay.
right, but I also have a feeling like, well, it's still the same thing. Because if the church actually supports the music ministry, all these things will not be an issue. And why I say that is, I gave a recital last year,
On my way.
Chapel of Restoration.
Okay, yeah.
Well, why that could come in place was because there was the support of the church.
Mm.
So I didn't have to even bring anything out of my pocket
Okay.
to do that.
Now, that's support. They didn't have congregation.
Yeah.
Yes,
The church
they
was
came
part
out.
too.
Now,
And that surprised me.
now, do you know why that happened? I'll bring you back to what I said first. Policy. I mean,
Politics. What politics?
You are the people's favorites.
You
Oh,
read the
I
people-
don't know these people.
Hold on.
Fresh from America.
Fresh from America. That showcase. No, I'm also
That is
telling
actually how it
simple
works
truth.
here. That
Fresh from
organist that
the
wants to play
US.
is from the US.
From the US,
Obodo
they go
Igbo.
put a lot of effort into
Yeah,
it.
so
Now let me now tell you one thing. Those ones that really made it happen, they had a gain in your show. Did you collect anything?
I didn't call it.
But they had a game. Tell them I said, you should come and tell me that they didn't have a game. I'm shaking their tables now.
Let me hear more. Because
They
I'm
have
trying to
a
understand.
look, my brother. If I want to bring you, somebody
Nigeria is very
sent me
peculiar.
a message via WhatsApp on Sunday. I was like talking to me about one organist in Australia that about I want to come to Nigeria. My concert is 2,500 euro. Now, my brother, if I'm to bring that person in to play for a concert for 2,500 euro, will I collect 2,500 euro for that concert? Answer me, sir. I'll collect 4,000 euro now.
Something go down, drop down.
Abba, you want me? And Nigeria, I'm not being unfaithful here, but it's just the truth. So whoever must have organized this for you to make it easy for you, they must have a patron somewhere they want to collect money from to make it work. The church has to bring out something for some people to organize it to make it work.
But before I say that, before you go, for UI, you're supposed to have like a series, right? Like maybe organ recital every 6 months or something like that. But the first one was not possible. I think I was the first person to give that, and they are anticipating for the next one, which they should have done already, but they've not done yet. So
Do you know why that could have happened? Why they have not done
For
it
this
yet?
same reason we are discussing
This is the
here.
same reason
This is the
logistics
same-
is you use.
The organist at UI or the assistant organist, it's not like he doesn't know how to give recitals, but for this same reason,
This very same
they're not
reason.
motivated.
Are they bringing you back
There's
for
no
the second
motivation
one?
to do it.
I'm not doing it. Even if they want to bring me back, I'm
No,
not.
that's you are a good. I mean, you go send market fast because you came in from the US. Than we were there here. We never see you play before. Like, come on.
Don't forget that the average organist probably studied something else. I studied ICT in school. You studied law. So
English law.
we study it as two-factor of authentication for life so that we will not suffer. Because what you earn as an organist
I wanted to
is
come to
not
that.
even
I
enough for
wanted
you
to come to. I wanted to come to that. Do you think the compensations organists are getting in Nigeria is worth it to be a church organist?
My
Absolutely
brother,
not worth it.
It is
Absolutely
still
not
the
worth
same
it.
issue. Economic crisis. I move close to people, priests, bishops, were close, and I see what comes into the church. In all sincerity, for example, my own church, I told them, I'm not forcing you. If you can't do it, no problem, leave it. If it's not convenient for me, I'll stop coming. I can only come when I'm free.
So right now you're doing it more for your passion.
Exactly.
When
When
you're
I'm
doing it as
free.
a ministry.
You can
than
maybe we get someone that is
as a
that can
job or
take
career.
this, which is not in my standard. But when you have maybe serious programs and all that, I can easily breeze in and breeze out. I'm not forcing you. But they said no. Whatever we're able to manage to put, let's just do so that we want you here fully, not breezing in, breezing out, kind of. So I need to consider that. In the same way, when people are going out to give offering, they're putting 10 naira, 20 naira. How many will you put it together? And priests in churches, they still have to pay a lot of bills, dues, assessments, kingdom seats, everything. So certain props. You know, I won't kill them.
And with this point that you made, don't you think the fact that organists are not well compensated would discourage them from wanting to be an organist?
Of course.
It's
Of
still
course. What's the
same
motivation?
thing now.
What's the motivation?
There is no motivation.
Why are you studying?
Why
are
I
you
said it? Why I
practicing?
said it is, don't you think at this point that we're in right now, playing organ will get to a point that it will be dead?
Yes, if we continue
Like
at this,
There are people who will not be willing to even go to church to even want to play the organ, or they'll just play it for just the fun of playing. But
That
it's
can
not
only be dead if the church policy allows it. What do I mean? That when they don't value it again.
Do they still value it now? Do you think it's even valuable now?
For myself, I speak for myself. For example, my bishop even told me some times ago when there was an issue, you can afford to let you go. You can afford to just do shit just like that. Now, to me, I hold that as value.
But does it translate to
Money.
But I have to overlook the money translation.
Because you have family to take
You
care
have
of.
a family, you have bills to pay.
It's one of the things I will tell organists. Don't see organist job as what to put food on your table.
Use it as
It's
fun.
unfortunate.
I keep saying this thing. As a church organist, you have to have. It's sad that you have to have something else. You are
In Nigeria.
Even in USA.
Even in US.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's I've not been to the US, but for example, in South Africa, that I've been to the right.
At least I know even major organists that I know that even teach in school, like teach, they still have to have a church job apart from even teaching.
I have a friend. He also is an organist in the church. He lost his job at the time, but he had to now think of something in his
domain
area. He lives in Edinburgh. In fact, there are two black people, one Congolese and himself. So most of them there are white. And he thought of, can I start a piano class in my house? And it was their summer holiday. Oh, that's me. He started telling people, piano class. And before he knew, it was even better than the church came for.
Even Benis will know, like right now, I'm everywhere and anywhere.
Trying to do everything possible.
Honestly, I would tell Agnes, learn a skill. Learn as much skill as you can.
Be a tech bro.
In my own case, I'm not really learning any skill. I don't really think.
But you are doing other things apart from music.
I am an hotelier.
Exactly.
Thank you. So you are doing something else that is bringing you money.
I have my work.
Don't forget that even as an organist.
What advice you want to give organists?
For the fact that in my church,
go out and do
where I play, where I direct music, organist as a music director, they give me overall chairperson for harvest. Do you know the interpretation of that? It's like what they are giving me, they are actually collecting back.
Because that role, that position, you spend money.
How they give you role that they are not even getting paid?
Overall chairman of youth harvest.
You didn't reject it.
And why would I reject it? It's God's work. And I raised money for the church in my little capacity.
Even like positions.
I had to meet up with people, started talking to people I know, big men, support me for my harvest, home and abroad.
You know what?
And they did.
You discovered,
and for that singular reason, even added to my respect.
But the respect is costing you
my own money. It's costing my own money.
You won't use respect to pay school fees.
You use respect to it.
You won't pay your rent with respect.
One thing about.
And this people that respect you, not that they will give you anything.
I don't need anything.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I thought someone, that person was telling me,
respect is
in our state, I can get an appointment or get a contract from His Excellency. I said, oh, that is lovely, that is good. I said, but what I have now is okay for me. Yeah, well, I have respect. So that's why they put food on my table. I said, it is only a lazy man that will expect to put food on his table. I did also. That earns me respect. Anytime I go to the governor's office,
he knows you're not coming to beg.
He knows I'm not coming to beg. I walk in and walk out. Nobody's asking me, who have you come to see? Somebody asked me sometimes, I said, are you new here? I think you are new. I've not seen this. I've not seen you before. You are just detached there. Attached there. He said, yes, okay. Tell that woman that I've come to see the Lord. He said, did he give you an appointment? Do I need to get an appointment with the government? Tell this chief of staff, chief of protocol, that I am here. That I said I don't need an appointment. But do you know where I met the government? On organ.
I wanted to even say that. When you invited me to
this place,
it's music.
How I came here to start playing for Chief
How
music.
am I even gonna meet Chief when I cannot meet him? Are we related? We are not.
We did the burial at Malaysia, burial of the late Bishop Awoson. The now governor was then the deputy governor, so he came to represent the governor for that burial. So after the burial, I just went to greet him, Your Excellency. Oh, how are you? Do you recognize? Organist, you are. And I said, Your Excellency, I would love to see you. He said, my office is open anytime you want to come. I said, protocol plenty. So I reached outside. Give you an appointment. He said, just tell them to come and tell me. Organist from our war. And it took a while before I even took that step, which I eventually did. I just went that day. Organist from our war. Some people did not really understand. One of his essay came downstairs. That's when I said, that is his essay, which his office is more along his own office. He said, okay, I just went to, sir, I'm the organist from our. I need to see that to go. Oh, come. He took me in. They were supposed to process me. He stopped the process. They don't want to know. He took me to his office. Says I should sit down here. I waited and waited and waited. They now wrote a note. Asked for my name. And all that. They took it in. He now sent someone to me that can we reschedule? That he's busy. I said, okay, I left. The following time, the next time I went there, I think the following week, I went there to Organist from our. He said, who am I asking? I said, I want to see Deputy Governor. Do you have an appointment? I said, no. But S.A. Shegun is aware. Said, oh, call him. I called S.A. Shegun. He said, he stepped out. I should allow me. And after that second time, they took me from that office I was the first time to the next office, which at that office I have to see the deputy governor. I sat there for like 1 hour, no more. The deputy governor stepped out and said, Organist, you are. Maybe no. I have a meeting now, but if I go through the back door, you might feel offended. But I have to see you and you have to schedule again. I said, no problem, Your Excellency. I appreciate that. You even stepped out to see him instead of going through the back. And he went back through the back door, left others that were waiting for him. But what I want to get out of this is that was our contact. That was and from there, even all through his trying times as deputy governor, when I wanted to pitch him, I was always there. And now he became the governor. Anytime where I reach that governor's office, I brought 2 investors to Ondo State as a businessman.
So you're also providing value to that relationship. You are not
Ondo State. I employ people that I pay salary.
So I wanna all the things you shared are very interesting. And what advice would you give to organists out there right now in this present situation with the way Nigeria economy is?
In terms of advice, actually, I'll tell them, if you know you're a keyboardist, please address yourself as a keyboardist. For real. If you know you're a pianist, kindly address yourself as a pianist. And if you know you are capable to use the organ, please use it appropriately. Use the organ appropriately. People will know that yes, this person is an organist. Then we will be the one. We people that are seeing you, that are watching you, to call you an organist. That's number 1. Number 2, as a church organist, at the same time as a church keyboardist, I don't think most of our churches use piano on Sunday. So it's only basically an organist and a keyboardist. As these 2, what will bring mess up. Oh.
Mess up.
So these are our garments.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And what is that? I don't preach, don't sing. If it's convenient for you, go ahead and sing. I don't say
This is your
No, that's not a good
I
advice.
won't say
I think
wait,
we
wait,
should-
I won't say
Disclaimer,
sing.
we
I
don't
won't,
agree.
I won't say
Disclaimer.
sing
We are
no
not on
more.
the same page with this.
I won't say
It's on
sing
its
no
own.
more. Please, if you want to sing, sing. Like all these are pastors now, then they are going against themselves. Some of them even said, who says when you sing you go to hellfire? Ha! I'm confused. So me, I won't say anything that whatever is convenient for you, do.
But carry yourself with dignity.
But carry yourself with dignity in church. As a matter of fact, I went for a job in a church organist interview in a church. I won't mention the church. They were asking me that, do I drink? I said, obviously. They said, okay. But when you are coming for practice, you have to drink before coming for practice. I said, why? That would not dignify me. I don't really even drink outside. In my house, I want to relax. I have a bottle and I sleep. They said, there's some organists, they go down high before they reach church. So if they can't reach rehearsal, one person do small little thing, they don't slap them. Wow, I don't read, everything don't change. I said, well, those are those that are spoiling this garment of organists. So please, organists, keyboardists, kindly behave yourself. Carry yourself with a very wonderful and reasonable poise. 2, on that line is that avoid our church choir. Ladies, I beg you in the name of avoid them. They're fine. Leave them. Come on. I moju kuro were. No je keru e po. Carry I comot. We like women. Fine. Organ work. Women will come around you.
Yeah, that's
fine.
true. That's true.
But please, for you to remain in that category of regard and respect, avoid them. From all indication, from histories, all our past organists that have been involved in this kind of thing, they don't end well.
They end well. Yeah.
None of them has ended well. They've been ending in one calamity or the other. So please, you to avoid them. As much as you see them and you like them, go outside, look for someone that looks like them and do the revenge for them. I'm not teaching you what to do. I'm only advising.
Which kind of advice?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll go to Mr.
And
Ben.
before I finish now, it remain one.
Okay.
And that one, now in the spoil and pass. Money. Why I want to anniversary, they release money for you. You squander them.
Don't chop money.
Thunder go fire you. Stop they do that. No, you sincere. It spoils us.
So the ethical side.
My
that's
church,
where you're coming
my where I am the music director and organist, I've been there for more than 9 years. I've never been a signatory to the choir account. I have never. That is, I'm still not a signatory to the choir account. Different people have stopped. You are the leader here. I said no. I'm not a signatory. They say I carry choir money, go buy motor. As if it's only the church that gives me food. Envy from different places, but I have a good defense. When they talk about choir money and they start digging it, at the end of the day, they will be at fault because I'm not even a signatory to the money they are talking about. I have never withdrawn money from that choir account. They go write check. They have never written any check in my name. In fact, there was one time they did actually. I was to withdraw 100,000 from the choir because I was going to where the bank was. Unfortunately, they wrote 100 naira on the check. That would have been the only time I would dream money for the choir. I got to the bank, I gave them the check. They took it in. They were almost, because they know me in the bank, so they didn't even, they were counting money already. One person now came with a check. I was showing to the other guy.
But this is
The guy now brought, okay, this one 100 naira now. I will count 100,000 for you. I said, how can it be 100 naira? They wrote 100,000 in word. No, in figure. They wrote 100 naira in word. So I said, here, thank you. I will return them. That would have been the only time I withdrew money for the choir. But for more than 9 years, I've not even withdrawn any. So when they now talk about choir money is with the Oga Akori. Okay. The table. But at the time, the bishop had to set up a panel. Why is the money with this guy? Why is he squandering the choir money? When the panel, they started talking, I said, okay. 1, how? I'm not a signatory. 2, the money that was given to us, this was how I distributed Not even me. The treasurer distributed it. I only gave him how he's going to distribute it. So I gave him the policy of how he's going to share the money. How is it my problem? Ask the treasurer. Treasurer, is money with the organ? He said no, that he is to share, but some have not collected theirs. So why did you say the money is with him? Okay, they said it was more than what I gave. I said, please ask the Lord Bishop. He's aware of what was given. He gave it to me himself. That this is for the choir. So ask him if he gave me more. They asked the bishop, did you give him more? This was how much he said. I said, that was how much I gave him actually. So where is that allegation from? They just don't like me. And the bishop said, you don't like him, but we like her. If you know you cannot function in the choir with him, leave the choir.
So what you're just saying now is be fruitful.
Exactly.
With the finances
of your choir. Completely, not somehow, completely. Fine. Look, even if money comes in, sincerely, me, what I do most times, when they give the choir gift, monetary gift, I give to my assistants. Oh boy, take it. Go and have a meeting with the treasurer and the financial secretary. But just, how we are going to share. They will come back to tell me, Oga, you have to take the lion share. You should be okay with the lion share now. Wait, you want hyena share? Lion share is okay for you. And they give others theirs too. But at the same time, others will still come and say, Organists are taking everything. But sometimes, if you have a good way outside the church organist pay or money, better. When they give you that money, I beg. So I can't be in church, they want to share money, they can't give me 2,000, I go collect. They do waiting, buy for it, even transport me. So I just said, no, give it to those that their money are low. You share on top.
Thank you very much for making this point. I don't know if Mr. Benos has anything to share. What advice you want to give to organists out there?
Okay, so I'll start from the top. So you organists that are way ahead of us, the veteran organists, the ABBA organists, please, this is not a competition between you and us. By every means, you are there. You will always be recognized as our seniors, but don't see this as don't run the younger organists down. That's one. Two, for the younger organists, as much as possible, forget all these things they are saying that it's actually rewarding when you develop yourself. You are the one that will benefit from it. The benefit might not come at once, might not come the way you expect it, but it would definitely be rewarding. I am a living testimony. Then the last point is that try to get, if you're a Nigerian organist, try to get other things to do so that you don't be financially burdened. And by every means, find out what the world stage appreciates and develop yourself to that point. Don't be a local champion. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing your thoughts.
It's a pleasure, Sam.
This has been an interesting podcast, and we're looking forward to more of this. So thank you, Mr. Fulu.
Thank you,
Mr. And thank you, Mr. Enos.
We call this now Mr. Love, no be woman. So please
take care, guys.
To that person that is concerned about that, when I say love in the house, I'm referring to him, or not side chick.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.